Hello everyone, this is Dr. Janina Scarlett with Superhero Therapy. Today we're going to be talking about the highly popular TV series and comic books, The Walking Dead. The series were initially created by a comic book writer, Robert Kirkman. The Walking Dead series are extremely successful because right from the first episode or the first issue, the stakes are extremely high, and because the characters are really well developed. Throughout the series, the characters are faced with numerous atrocities, some of them even developing serious mental illness like post-traumatic stress disorder, major depressive disorder, psychotic disorder, and others. Let's take a look. The TV series begin with Rick Grimes, the deputy sheriff and the main protagonist, getting shot in a line of duty. When he wakes up from the coma, the virus had spread and the world has been largely populated by zombies, or walkers as they're called in the series. Rick eventually manages to escape and find his wife and son. After a series of devastating events, he begins to break down. He becomes aggressive and controlling. He starts having flashbacks about the people that he tried to kill, and he avoids getting close to others. Rick seems to be struggling with symptoms of what's called post-traumatic stress disorder. PTSD is a mental health disorder that occurs after someone had experienced a traumatic event. So Rick, who had seen gruesome slaughters, found out that everybody in the world is infected, nearly lost his son to a gunshot wound, was forced to kill his best friend, so has certainly experienced more in 8 months than most people have in their entire lifetimes. In order to be diagnosed with PTSD, someone would have had to witness a trauma and their symptoms would have to last for a period of 1 month or more. PTSD consists of the following symptoms: re-experiencing, which refers to nightmares, flashbacks, intrusive memories of the traumatic events, and Rick certainly seems to meet that criteria. Hypervigilance is another symptom of PTSD, and that refers to being overly alert and jumpy, and that seems to describe Rick pretty perfectly. And finally, the last symptom of PTSD is what's called avoidance, which means avoiding being around people or places or anything that reminds the person of the traumatic event or anything that might trigger a strong emotional response. After Rick killed his best friend, Shane, he starts to shut down and pushing away the people that care about him. A lot of people actually engage in avoidance, not wanting to think about the painful things that happen to them. We know from research that people that avoid facing their painful experiences are actually more likely to develop post-traumatic stress disorder and other forms of mental illness than people who don't avoid. In the short term, avoiding might actually feel good because then we don't have to deal with the painful experiences. But in the long term, the symptoms persist and typically people get worse. Given that Rick meets the symptoms for PTSD, it does seem likely that he has this illness. And actually, given his experiences, it's not surprising. His wife's death was the last straw, and his symptoms greatly escalate, leading to him having hallucinations. About 20% of people with PTSD experience hallucination in addition to their PTSD symptoms. Usually, hallucinations and other psychotic symptoms might go away after a while. For Rick specifically, his hallucinations are about his wife, Lori, who died during childbirth. As a part of his hallucination, Rick speaks to several people that died, including his wife, who encourages him to take care of his children. It was only after this conversation with her that Rick is finally able to stop avoiding his family, and this is when he holds his daughter, Judith, for the first time. Michonne, another character from the series, goes through similar symptoms. Like Rick, Michonne also lost someone she loves in the apocalypse. Her son was killed while she was out, and her boyfriend and his friend were supposed to be watching him. Michonne also experiences some hallucinations after her son's death. And like Rick, she also has flashbacks and visibly experiences nightmares. She also becomes jumpy and hypervigilant, distancing herself from other people and having a really difficult time trusting the new people that she meets. Rick and Michonne's symptoms are very similar to what I see when working with active duty service members as well as civilians with post-traumatic stress disorder. Their recovery pattern is similar as well. So both Rick and Michonne try to run away from their pain, refusing to face it and initially sinking deeper into their depression and post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms. And they both visibly recover when they begin to open up about their experiences and become closer to other people in the group. I always say that trauma is kind of like food poisoning. We need to process it to get it out of our system. Otherwise, it's kind of just sitting there, poisoning us from the inside. And for Rick and Michonne, they found a way to face their experiences and were able to find a new meaning in their lives. It is exactly when they start to become close to other people and rediscover the kind of people that they want to be that they start to heal. I'm very curious to see what the rest of the series will bring, and I wonder what will happen to Maggie now that she lost both her father and her sister. So far in the series, Maggie has been quite resilient. However, what worried me is after the prison was taken over, Maggie barely mentioned Beth. And I'm wondering if this was because Maggie might have been too scared that Beth might no longer be alive. And now that Maggie knows that Beth is dead, I wonder if we will see Maggie unraveling as well. On the other hand, it's also possible that she will maintain her resilience as she has people around her that she loves and can rely on, and I'm hoping that she'll be able to maintain her resilience throughout the series. If there are any other characters from The Walking Dead or other TV series that you're interested in, please let me know and I would be happy to talk about them on this channel. If you like this video, please feel free to thumbs up or subscribe below. So once again, this is Dr. Janina Scarlett with Superhero Therapy, wishing you a wonderful day.